Hello, welcome back. So today I'm going to show you how to make an exploding box. I was asked about a month or so ago now if I could show you how to make one, and I have tried a few times to do it, so I'm going to try again and hopefully this time we'll get it right. So what we're going to need, and everything that all the measurements, everything that I do say in this tutorial will be left in the description box below, so you can refer back to that. So what you want is 3 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock, because we're going to do 3 layers on this, and you'll also need a sheet of 6 by 6 cardstock, which I haven't got out just yet. So I am using some sheets which are quite old. Do they say dates on them? I'm not quite sure, but I've had these for a very long time, and I just want to use them up, so I'm going to use these. You're also going to need a 12 by 12 scoreboard and a cutter. You can have them separate, it just so happens that I have this one, and excuse all the bits of glue and stuff. So what we're wanting to do first of all is we want to make sure that all of our pieces are 12 by 12, and I'm going to have this one, the stars, for my outside. No, actually, sorry, I'm not. I'm going to have this one for the outside, which is exactly 12 by 12. So we're going to score and cut down all of our 3 layers first. I'll just get my scoring tool out. So your first piece, which will be outside, so this will be my inside. You want to score at 4, and then you want to score again at 8. You then want to turn it round, just one turn, and again you want to score at 4 and at 8. You then want to burnish all of these folds using your bone folder or a ruler or your hands, anything, and you just want to make it so that they are all nice and burnished and easy to move. So this will be the outside of your box. You then want to get your so the second layer to your box, which I will use this what they're called, star something, I can't think, it'll come to me. Right, so your next sheet, you want it to be 10.5 inches by 10.5 inches. So you want to, so there's my 10.5 by 10.5. And then what you want to do, when you've done 10.5 by 10.5, you want to score at 3.5 and 7. You then want to turn it and score again at 3.5 and at 7. And like I say, if you're not getting these, I will leave it in the description box below. It'll be under your outer layer, your second layer, and your centre. And then again, we're wanting to burnish these so that they're all really nice and scored and folded. So this will be the second layer. So this bit will sit inside this first one like that. And then the very last layer, which is going to be your centre, and I'm going to use this sheet. You want it to be 9-inch square. So put that down. 9 inches. Oh, not quite right. There we go. So you want it to be a 9-inch square, and then what you're wanting to do is you want to score at 3 and at 6. Then turn it and again score at 3 and then at 6. Make sure all your folds are nice and creased. And then that's all of your layers done. Right, I'm just going to go in my stash and grab out a 6-inch squared piece, and then I'll show you how to do the lid. So I'm back. So I've got a piece of 6-inch squared card, and then what you're wanting to do is you want to score at 1 and let me think. Is 1 7/8? No, it isn't 1 7/8 at all. Right, sorry. Scrap that. It's 7/8 you want to score it at. Do you know? So you want to score at 7/8. Turn it. Score again at 7/8. Turn again at 7/8. And then turn it for the last time and score at 7/8. And then this will give you the lid, and again we're going to burnish it quite nicely. I will put the blind up in a second. The light was streaming in, but it looks like the sun's gone in, so I can actually have more daylight. Actually, that might help as well. So there's the lid. So we've got all of our 4 pieces together. So I'm just going to get rid of this because we don't need this right this second. And what we're going to do is we're going to work on our base piece. So what you want to do is, there's a couple of different sort of styles that you can do. So you can have it where you cut it and then you just leave like that, embellish it, do what you want, which I will show you now. But they all more or less start this way. Let me see if I can just let some more natural light in. There, I think that's a bit better, isn't it? So what you want to do, you want to cut to the right side of every centre square, just up to this centre bit here. So you've got a flap like this. So you want to do that to every one of these centre squares. Oh, there's the sun again. It's typical, isn't it? Hopefully it'll go behind clouds again, because it is quite a cloudy day. Yeah, so again, excuse me, cut to the right of every centre outer square, and you're only cutting up to that centre square, or that centre score line, and you're doing this to all of them. Now this is where you've got the choice. So you can either leave it like this, so when you put it together, it goes together. That sun really is terrible. I'm going to have to put the blind back up down. So you can either have it like that, so that it just pops open like that. But the way that I do it is I'm measuring, so on this flap bit, we're going to fold it over here. And then we're going to cut a section out of this bit here, which means that anything that we put in, we can pull out. So on this top edge, let me just get my pencil and a ruler. Have I got an inch one? Where's my inch ruler? I have centimetres and millimetres. Right, make sure I get the right size. There we go. No, that's centimetres. Right, I think we're going to have to do, there we go. Right, so what you want to do is you want to measure the centre of just this square, which is 2 inches, sorry. You then want to come down 1 inch and make a mark. And then you want to join that mark to both corners, and then this is the section that we are going to cut out. I really hope you can see this. So you'll have something like that. So I'll get rid of this tag if I can. I don't think I can. It's been on there for a very long time. Yeah, it's not going to come off. Right, luckily it's hid. So then you want to bring in your scissors and you just want to cut just this section out. Like that. And then that gives you a nice little opening for your pocket. And we're going to do that to every one of these pieces. So I will do it again. So you want to measure to the center, which is 2 inches. You then want to come down 1 inch and make a mark, and then that mark you want to join to each corner like so. And once you've done that, you then want to cut it out. So I'll do it to this one. Everything's in the way today. So 2, measure down 1, and measure to each corner. And then the very last one, so 2. Oh, nearly spot on there. 1, and there we go. So we're just going to cut all of these sections out. Like this, all the way around. And then once we've done that, we're actually going to glue these closed. Now you can do it a different way, which I have done as well, is where instead of doing, that's not straight at all, instead of doing it with this V shape, you can actually, oh, that light is terrible. Right. But if I pull a blind down, let's have a look. Right, so you can go just draw a line from this corner to this corner and cut it out and then have it on there, so it's just like a diagonal there, so it's more like a tuck pocket. So that was the other way that you can do. But I mean, you can do anything. You can add waterfall pockets onto, like waterfall bits onto this. You can, yeah, really, honestly, your imagination is your limit, really. So, what I need now is my glue, and there it is. So, make sure. And all we're going to do is on each piece is we're going to see if this comes out. I don't think it will. Is it open? Oh, I think my glue's dried up, but that's my own fault. I've left it open. Right. So I'm just going to get a brush and do this with a brush. So we're just wanting to put our glue along here and along this section here, and that's all that we're doing. And then fold it over and glue it down. And then again the same to this piece, so just along this bit where we cut it and then just along this outer edge, and then this gives us our little pocket. And again, just press it down. Hold it for a few seconds so it doesn't pop back up, and there's your second one. So we're just going to go around and do this to all of the pockets. Like this. And the last one. Just like this. So that gives us our first layer, and then make sure that they all can fold quite easily, which they can. I'm going to have to glue that one back down. Oh no, it's still wet. So that's our first layer done. So onto our second layer. So with our second layer, what we're going to be doing is a waterfall design. So we're on the 10.5 inch square. Just put my brush in the water, and I've used the wrong brush. Excuse me. I feel like I've got a frog in my throat. Right, so again, we're wanting to cut. Well, this time actually we're going to be cutting out these corners, so we're not actually going to have these corners in, so you're going to cut these corners completely out like this, and you want to do that to all of them. And the next one. And then finally this one. Like that. And excuse me. Honestly, my throat's really dry. Right, I'm just going to go and get a glass of water, and I'll be back. Hello, so I'm back with a glass of water in my Harry Potter glass. Right, don't get rid of these, because we can use these for like little tags or other bits, so keep them, because like I say, we can use them. You can even actually use them in these pockets as well, because they fit just perfectly within. And all you'd have to do is just put like a little tab on, which is, I normally just, I'll round the corners off, I'll put a little hole in, and then a bit of ribbon, and then it's easy to push in and out. So what we're going to do on this is, so the bits that we cut off it earlier, so these bits, we want to keep. Now I'm just going to cut down here, because we don't need this bit. Now you can do measurements, but I've found that if I do measurements, everything goes to pot, and I'll show you what I mean. And I've found that it's easier me working this way. So I'm going to go and get well, I'm going to use this piece of cardstock that we're using for the centre. So we'll just get rid of that, like that. Bring back my cutter. And what we're wanting is, we're wanting it to be the same width of that, which is 3.5 inches. So measure 3.5 and cut it, and we don't want it that big, you want it at 1 inch, so you want 3.5 by 1 inch, and you need 4 bits of these. and this is what we're going to attach our waterfall onto. So do 3.5 by 1. And then this is where you now need to choose what cardstock or what cardstock you're wanting to use and how many layers that you want on your waterfall. Now I tend to do 3 layers, so I'm going to go in my stash and I'm going to have a look for some coordinating pieces, but before I do that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my glue and a paintbrush, and all we're doing is we're just gluing along this bit here and this bit here, and then we are going to just put it so that it is about 1/2 inch from the top, like that. So you want to do this, oh, I've got glue everywhere. So you want to do this to all of them. So and then once you've done that, if you get out your bits, your papers that you want to use from your stash, I will show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm back. So I found these bits of cardstock in my stash, so I'm going to use these, and what we're going to do is we're going to measure this section, and what you're wanting is a piece that starts at 3 inches. So you want it 3 inches by 3 inches. So I get my scoreboard, and we need 4 pieces, and I'm going to do them all in that one. So we want 4 pieces of 3-inch square. I think the postman's due because that's my doggy. 3 inches by, perfect. So I might even be able to get all out of one sheet. Perfect. And so then what we're wanting to do, so that's our top layer. So this is the layer that I'll be showing first. We then want to get our next cardstock, and what you're wanting to do, you want it to be 1/4 inch smaller. So this you then need 4 pieces of 2 3/4, all of the same, and as you'll see they are, I've done that wrong. So they want to be 3 by 2 3/4. So they're the same width, but the 1/4 inch smaller, just so you can put them together. So as you can see, so that's what we want 4 pieces this side. So it's it's 3. So I'll cut that down to 3 by 2 3/4. And this one 2 3/4. And then I need one more. So 3. And like I say, I will leave all the measurements down in the description box for each layer and for everything that I do within each layer. So then it makes life a little bit easier. So you should have, by now, you should have 4 3 by 3 and 4 3 by 2 3/4, and then on your last piece you want them to be 3 inches by 2.5 inches. By 2.5, and again you want 4 of these. And then when you've done this, we're then going to score them. Yeah, the postman's definitely here. I'll be right back. Yes, I'm back. Sorry about that. It was the postman. So what you should have 4 pieces that are 3 by 3, 4 pieces that are 3 by 2 3/4, and then you should have 4 pieces that are 3 by 2.5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to I've got my mini scoreboard out just because it's easier. Is you want to take all your pieces and you want to score them at 1/4 inch. Do this so I can actually hold it. So just a 1/4 inch, and you want to do it to every single piece. I don't know if you guys can hear the wind, but it's really blowing a gale today. It's the only thing about spring weather is it looks absolutely beautiful outside, and then you've got this horrible cold wind that always sort of bites you, so you still can't wear nice summery clothes. I think it's the reason why I actually don't like spring, because you just can't tell. Don't get me wrong, I love the flowers, I love it when the trees come into bloom, but the weather, yeah, I cannot stand it. Yeah, so all I'm doing is I'm just going along with every single piece and just scoring it at 1/4 inch. Now the next bit that we're going to do is the bit that I was telling you about that I don't really like to measure, because I found that every time I measure I always get it wrong. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and then what I'll do is I will take the measurements of the pieces and put them in the description box. But if you want to do it the same way that I'm doing it, then please feel free. But I just seem to, this is the bit that I sort of get to, and then yeah, it always gets messed up. So this time I'm doing it the way that I do it, and I will leave there's a couple of tutorials on YouTube that I'll leave links to as well of people who I've watched. Yeah, because they really deserve the credit. It's just, this is my way of doing it and the way that I find easy. And I think it's sometimes as well, it is nice to sort of watch different methods and different ways, and then you can sort of find your own way of doing it, really, can't you? So right, now I'm just going over and I'm making sure, and you need to make sure these are really nicely bent for the waterfall to happen. And I'll just, and as you can see, they just sit quite nicely. I mean, I suppose you could do the full thing of it, but I like the border from behind. So it's done. So yeah, I'm just going along, bending it backwards and forwards. And I'm not using my bone folder because I just want you to see that really you don't have to have a bone folder. You can just use your fingers. So it just makes life a little bit easier. And for some reason with the bone folder, sometimes I don't get the folders as neat. It always ends up going skew with. There he is again. I think he thinks he's he's protecting us. He's 14 now, my little Jack Russell. He's called Quincy. He's absolutely gorgeous. He loves his cuddles, but he loves the postman actually. He always gets treats off the postman. Yeah, but he always feels like he has to bark at everyone that moves past the window. But I'm wondering if that's just all Jack Russells. Right, I'm just going to go and grab the post. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm back. Right, so we've got our 3 pieces, and the order that they're going to go in is this bottom one is first, followed by this one. I've got the fold, so it'll be that one, followed by that one, followed by that one. So that's how we're going to have it. So the smallest piece on the bottom, and then the biggest piece on the top. So the bit that I always find is a struggle is this bit. So these bits that we took off of this are perfect for this, and you should be able to get 2 out of each piece. And all I do is I just slide it under. I put it at however much of a tab that I want. So I normally have around 1/2 inch, so just there. And then making sure that it's straight, I then fold it up just above that line, like that. So then I then follow it up. Actually, I don't think we're going to get 2 out of this, so you may have to you could either have all coordinating, or you can have 2 of one and 2 of another. So you then want to just measure that there, because you just want to cut it each side. Take it out and just cut that there. So then this is our tab. We then need our scoreboard. And then where this piece is, not the longer bit but the shorter one, so you want to just give that a nice good score, and then you just want to, every 1/4 inch, you want to just go across, and you want it so that you've got 3 sections of, oh, wrong bit, 3 sections of 1/4 inch. So this one, that one, and that one. And then you just want to fold it, so make sure it's really nicely folded. And don't worry if you make a mistake like I've just done here. It is perfectly fine, because it will be covered. You won't be able to see it. So again, we're just going to fold over one way, then fold over the other, and make sure they're really good to go. We're then wanting to place it back under here, and then we're wanting to get this bit, get our glue, which I have fixed, and just put a blob of glue on there. And you want to do it so that it's in the center and lining up to this edge, like that. So just like that. So it's just this section that we're wanting to be glued, and you want to do this with all sections. Now I am excuse me, I do have some more. We have this bit that we had left over from the centre bit, so I am going to use this piece as well. So I'm just going to cut this down to just 1.5 inches. Perfect. So then we've got, I'll have these 2 there, and then I'll have this one here. So that's stuck down now, and then I'm going to do the same over this side. So again, you can measure it if you want. I like I say, I like to have about 1/2 inch, and then fold it over just near this edge, and then make a mark, and then you just want to cut at that mark. And in theory, actually, you could, because it should all be the same size, you could just go along and cut them already to size. like that. And then you can put your fold in. So if we do that, put our fold in, it's just a bit longer, there we go, like that. But like I say, it never, as you can see, it never ever works out for me when I measure, never. So I just find it so much easier if I do it this way, because then I'm guaranteed to get it right. And it works every time for me. But honestly, please find your own way of doing it. You can measure this, or yeah, like I said, I will leave a couple of links to other people's tutorials in the description box below, if in case you're not following this this bit. Right, where am I? This piece. So I'm just going to make sure all of them are done, like cut down to the size, and then we'll do all the scoring, and then I'll show you what to do next. So show you once more, put it in, fold it up. Just, it's about, I would say, about 1/8 of an inch from that line, and then you just want to mark it at the top of this tab bit, and then you know that that's the excess. So now we've got these, I'm going to get our scoreboard, place them on, and using our bone folder, score at the line that we've already folded, and then you want to do 1/4 of an inch from that fold, and you want to do that 3 times. So that's what you should have. And then you want to fold them backwards and forwards on all of your score lines, because that'll help it move so much nicer. And it won't be stiff. So we've done that one. So we'll do the same to these ones. 1/4 of an inch 3 times. Because this is actually where we're going to stick our little pieces of card to. So just like that. And the last one, so again, score, and then 1/4 of an inch, like so, and then we just fold them. So we don't need this now, so I can move this out of the way. Okay, bring this back in, and then we're going to pop the long bit under, and then we're wanting to glue it in the centre, and you can measure where your centre is, or you can eyeball it, and you just want to glue these down like so. So just like that, and you want to do it to all pieces. So long bit underneath, and then the short bit needs to reach to the top of that tab that we put on earlier. So just like that. And try not to, like I've just got glue on that back bit, you don't want that to stick, because this is where we're going to be using it for our waterfall. So try not to, if you can, to get glue over that edge. So again, I'm just going to put this one on like so. There we go. Wait a minute. Right, so I'm going to go over to this one that we did first, and then I'm going to show you what to do. So we're going to get our 3 pieces. So here they are, and then we're wanting this shorter one. Now this shorter one is going to get put on that very first tab line. So just here, this very first 1/4 of an inch line that we put in is where we are going to just put a small piece of glue, and then because then that's where you know it's going to go up to. You then want to put glue on this section because we're gluing this whole bit down, and then just to the sides as well. So don't put it on this bit, because if you put it on this bit, you've got the danger of going on to this bit and then your waterfall's not going to work. So you want to just do this sort of section. Just make that a bit more so it's not going to go through like so. And then you want to line it up with there, get it centered, and press that down. So this is the first piece of our waterfall, and this piece is the bit that stays still and the bit that we measure these on, well, line these up with. So again, just want to wait till that. I really do hope this is coming across. Honestly, the amount of times I've tried to explain this, it can be quite hard, and I'm not the very best with words. I can show, but I'm not the best with words. Excuse me, I just have a sip of water. Right, so then we're going to get our second one. So this one was the 3 by 2.5. Then you want your 3 by 2 3/4. And what we're going to do, it should line up perfectly with this top bit, and it should sit on this edge. So this edge here is where we need to put some glue, and you only want a small amount because again you don't want it anywhere else but on that 1/4 of an inch that we scored. So just there, hope you can see that. Then you want to line up your edges like that, and then you just want to push that down. And then when that's dry, it should work perfectly. I shouldn't be so impatient. Right, okay, so push that down, and then that's how it will be. So then with the last piece, so that very last bit that we've scored, so this bit here, we want to now put a bit of glue on this bit, and then we're going to take our very last piece, and then we're going to line it up again, and once we've lined it up, we're going to just press it along that bit of glue, and when it's dry again, this is where our waterfall will be. So I'll leave that a few seconds and then we can test it out. So while that one's drying, I'll do another one. So we want our 3 by 2.5. So this is the first piece that we're going to do, and you're going to glue. I'll bring it up to the camera. So you're going to glue this very first 3/4 of an inch. Then you're going to glue this section and then just a small piece on either side. So not straight onto the paper, just on these bits, and then you can use your finger to spread it so that it doesn't leak, or a paintbrush or a spreader. So like that, and then you then want to get this piece and line it up and press it down like that. And then this is the base of our waterfall. So this is what we should have. Isn't that cool? I love it. Right, so plain little breaker needs to dry. Right, so this is what we're going to do with all of them. But I am going to show you each one. But if you don't want if you know what you're doing now and you don't want to see them, please feel free to fast forward. So now this is the 3" by 2 3/4. So again, I'm just going to put a bit of glue on this second 1/4 inch that we scored. I did put a bit too much glue on. We're going to line it up with the edge and then just press it on that glue and on that through that 1/4 inch that we scored, and then just leave it, and then this bit glue it's on my finger, and then again the next piece that we're going to put down. So again, put some glue down. You want your 3 by 3. We want to line it up so it's all nice and straight, and then we're going to put it down onto this piece here, and then there's another one done. So onto the next one. I'll put a bit more glue in there, I think. Right, so glue on the first 1/4 inch on this flat section, a little bit to this side and a little bit to that side, and then we're just going to spread it so we know it's not going to leak out. And then starting with the first piece, which is 3 inches by 2.5 inches, we're just going to line it up to this first bit there, to the edge of that 1/4 inch we scored, and make sure it's centre, and then push it down. Wipe my hand. Like that. I've got a bit of glue there, you don't want that. And if you do see that you have spilled any glue anywhere, make sure you do wash it, wipe it off. It's easier to do it while it's wet than when it's dry, obviously. Okay, so we're then going to get our second piece. Just make it see what order I'll put it in. We're just going to put a tiny bit of glue, and this is where you need really quite strong glue. This actually, it's not PVA, this is, where's my bottle? It's high-tack glue that I am using. It's just this bottle's easier for it to come out of. It doesn't seem to get as clogged as much. So we're going to line it up again and then push it down just where we've put that little bit of glue. And then we're going to do it to the very last piece. So just on that 1/4 inch that we scored, line it up so that everything's nice and straight, and then once it's straight we're just going to let it go onto that glue and adhere to it. So and once it's dried, check to make sure that it works. So our last one, so we're going to put glue on this first 1/4 inch we scored. We're going to do this piece and a bit to this side and a bit to that side. You can do more. You can do as many layers as you want. You don't have to stick to just 3. I just prefer 3. I just like the size of them, because obviously they get smaller 1/4 inch at a time, so the more that you do. So if you are wanting to add any more, then you need to take that into consideration, that you must cut it 1/4 inch shorter than the last one that you did, and then you need however many 1/4 inch scores along for each piece of paper that you have. Right, so there's that one. So then we're going to, oh, that's glue coming out of there, put too much on. So then we're going to do the next line, next 1/4 inch score line, get our next piece, line it up like this and then let it stick like so. And then the very last piece, so again put a bit of glue on, we are going to line it up and we're going to push that down, rub any excess glue, and then just wait a few minutes and then that one will be done. And then there's our second layer complete. Now I am using these as matting, so what I'm going to be doing is I'll be going in with some blue paper or some blue cardstock, and I'm going to just put a little square in, or I might even do yellow actually, yellow orange. So these will be my backgrounds. But you can do whatever you want. I shouldn't, right, leave that one to dry. So you just want to check, and then this is where you want to this is where you want to test them all, and then you just need to sort of reinforce those folds like this. And then that gives you a nicer finish. So just like that. And the next one, so there you go. So do that to them all. So that looks as though I've actually gone over it ish. I don't know. So you just double check and making sure it works. Because obviously if glue does get in, they can quite easily stick together, and that's not what you want. And do be careful, because I mean this one's still wet, I shouldn't really be playing with it, but so do wait until they're dry, don't be impatient like I am, but I'm just doing it for quickness. So once we've done that, we then get our first piece, so our outer piece, and all you want to do is just glue it into the center. So you can either use double-sided tape, any glue you want, just anything really, just to stick that into the center. And there's your second layer done. So I'm just gonna, and then now while that dries, I'll just put that to one side. We're going to get our very last layer. Oh, it's falling down. I'll just put that up there. So we're going to get the last layer that we did, and then what we're going to do, I just wipe my hands of glue and wipe that off, and close it, is we're going to cut down again, down each side like that, so to the right of each center square, and we're just cutting up to the center square itself. And again, you've got quite a few options of what you want to do here. So I am actually going to leave it like this, so it will fold like that. So this one will be left like that, and then what I'm going to do, because we will have, and this is where all your little bits and pieces come in handy, because you're going to have little bits left over, and because they are from the other two layers, they'll all tie in nicely. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and I'm going to add in some pockets along these ones, and then maybe do some matting on these ones. So I'm thinking, because I really like the starfish, I've remembered. So I'm really liking these starfish, so I think what I'm going to do is get my mini trimmer and just trim it so that I've got two starfish, and do it with this one as well. do it this way. And again, you can measure them if you want to. But all I'm going to do is, so I'm going to stick them along there, and then I'll just take that up and then I'll cut it. So I get my glue, and we're just going to put a small amount along there and up the edges, and then this is going to create our tuck spot. Move that out of the way. And then I just think you get it spot on this way. Probably just me with my measurements, I'm probably just not that good, but if you were to measure it, you would need to cut, so you would need a 3" by a 1.5" piece for that tuck spot. So so I don't have 3" on this. Nope. So again, we're just going to glue this down, and then once you've done all of this this prep work, after that really it's entirely up to you. You can decorate it however you want. You can personalize it for a friend. I've made a couple now for friends, and both have loved them, and they've both been personalized to them. And you know, I've absolutely loved making them, and I've loved seeing people's faces opening them. So I do think that whoever came up with these is an absolute genius. It's such a good idea and so thoughtful as well, and the amount of work as well that goes into them. So I've got another 2 bit here. Oh, and I can use that bit. And very little goes to waste as well when you do these out of your 12 by 12s, which is really nice. So I'll just put that on there. I'm thinking I might even put a tuck spot there, you know. I quite like the idea. And then in the centre, now in the centre there's a couple of things that you can do. You can do an accordion, which is the first time I made one is what I did. But then I decided that I was going to make a book. So I have a little book with some ribbon. So I'll show you how to do that today. And then we're finished. I've finally managed to actually get through it. And I am sorry if my explanations aren't very good. I mean, all I can do is apologise. If anybody's got any tips on how I can make my videos better, please, I'm all ears. Let me know. Because, you know, I'm here to learn as well. I'm just passing on the bits that I've learned. Oh, I like them. So yeah, everybody's learning, and you don't learn unless you know what you're doing wrong, really. I'm actually going to fussy cut some of these stars just because I think they're gorgeous. Sorry, starfish. I can't believe I forgot the word starfish. But then my memory is so bad these days. It's really bad. And you'll know why soon, because on the 25th of March I will be releasing a video, and I'm going to be making something. Actually, I don't know if this might actually be going up after the 25th of March, so you probably already know. But yeah. So here we are. and it is a long video, I know, but I didn't feel like I could speed this one up. I really did feel like, you know, I wanted to be there with you every step of the way. And if you do make an explosion box using my tutorials, please hashtag me in them. If you hashtag shiny silver treasures, I will be able to actually see them, and I would love to see what you make. So I'm just cutting a few of these out because I think I want to do a little bit of embellishing. Just because I just don't want to waste these. They're so cute. So what I was thinking was making either, well, was putting them so that they sort of, I need one more. I'll do this blue one. Put that brown one on there. Yeah, perfect. Just this blank white space, I just wanted to fill it in. And what better way than to use your little bits of scrap. So, yeah. And can you believe it as well? I'm so close to 200 subscribers. How mental is that? Like, honestly, I am blown away. I never thought in a million years I would get there. And it's thanks to you guys. Honestly, you're all fab. You're all amazing, and the support is just, yeah. Right, okay, enough rambling on. I'm going to put these up on some foam squares. Like that. Just because I think it looks better with a bit of 3D. And then I will do some pockets on these ones, and then we will do the book in the centre, and then we're finished. So if you want to skip this part of me doing the pockets on these centres, by all means please do. And if you want to stay and watch it with me, then you are more than welcome. I'm happy for you to stay with me, and I'll enjoy the company. Right, okay, last one. I can't wait to get my nails done again. Right, there we go. So we've done that. So now I'm just going to get some of, I'm going to use this paper, I think, now. And I'm going to put in some tuck pockets just along there. So I'm going to get my big cutter and actually do measurements this time. So I know that it is, I want 3 inches by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to move that out the way. And then I'm going to measure this out. So I'm going to start at 1.5 inches. Perfect. And then do at 3. And I'm going to do that to this one. Excuse me. I do have another sheet of that one. I really do need to tidy this desk up. So, oh, my paper's got wet, but it's okay. Right, we'll cut this bit off. It's because I've actually left my baby wipes just on the side. They've been left open. So 1.5. Put them in my scrap box. And we want, so if I do by 6. Oh. And then by 3. Perfect. Right, get rid of this. Have another sip of water. So this time I'm actually tempted to pop them up so that they're a bigger pocket. So shall we see? Probably be easier with I don't think I'm going to do it to all of them because it's very time consuming, and this video is going to be super long as it is. So just another 2, 1 and 2, and then take all of these off. I love the brightness of these papers. I've had them in my stash forever. I think they're one of the first papers that I sort of ever got, and I've just never used them. Honestly, I haven't got a clue why I haven't used them, because yeah, they're lovely. Very summery. Would be perfect actually for a summer birthday. Yeah, so I'm just going to make sure that's, so you don't want to have it right on the edge if it's up, because you need it so that it sort of can sit over like that. So if you want to bring it up and do it, that would actually give you the perfect, there we go. And then there's a little bigger pocket. Does that make any sense? There's a wider pocket. So actually I think I will do that to all of them. I think that's quite nice. So I'm literally just going around with my little foam dots. You can use foam tape if you want, or you can just glue them down, or use a tape runner. Basically whatever you have. You don't have to do what I'm doing, but I'm going to stop the camera now and do these other 3, and then I will get back to you, because I'm not going to do anything different than what I've just done with this first one. So for you, I will be back in a second. Okay, so I'm back. I've given up fighting with the sun, so I've just pulled my blind completely down. So I am sorry about the lighting, but it's either too bright, too dark. So I think I might have to invest in some daylight bulbs and see if that makes any difference. Right, okay, stop waffling. So I've done that. So each one's got a nice little pocket on them. So that's done, and then I've got another sheet of this paper, so I'm going to cut this down to make my book in the centre. Now this is a 3-inch square in the centre, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make my book a 2.5-inch square. So get my board out again. I'm going to measure, I want 2 strips of 2.5 inches. So there's one strip, and then another one, when I get it right. And there's the other one. And then because I'm wanting a cover, I'm then going to cut a piece which is 5.5. So this is going to be the cover of the book, by 2 3/4. So this is what you should have, and like I said, I will leave all the measurements in the description box below. So this is going to be our cover of the book, so we're just going to sort of slightly fold that over, and then with these ones we're going to get our scoreboard, and what we want to do is we want to score every 2.5 inches. So 2.5, 5. 2.5 and 5, and then you're going to have this little tab, and don't worry about that because we do actually need that. So again, we're going to go 2.5 by 5, and if I put that at 5. Okay, so this is what we should have. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick these two sections together like that. So I'm just going to get my glue, yeah, like this, and we're just going to, I just like to move it around, make sure the glue gets everywhere, and then we're just going to stick that along there like that. And then we're just going to do like an accordion fold on everything like that. So this is what we'll have. Now if you are doing the accordion, this is basically all you would do, and then you would stick it down. The other thing that I do need is I need some ribbon. So I'll have a look in here. I quite like that one. Or, oh no, that one. Right. And then what you want to do is make sure they're all all burnished down, and then you just want to put this around it like that, and then this is what's going to sit there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue all these bits shut like that, and we're going to glue this edge bit onto this piece here. Make it a right mess. There we go, like that. So make sure that's in, and then you just want to go along on the back of every bit, and just you want to glue them all down. And this is how I make my book. And then this bit is what we glue to the back bit. So, and then when that's dry, so I'll just hold that for a few seconds. This is what you have with all your pages. Now, because, and it's just going to sit in like that, we're going to keep it closed, we're going to use ribbon. So I've got this bit of ribbon out of my stash when I can take that sellotape off. Scissors. Where have I got my scissors? There they are. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to lay this down so that the centre of the ribbon is in the middle, and then put a dollop of glue like that, and then you just want to then put another dollop of glue around like that, and then this is where we're going to stick our book into, like that. And then we're going to tie this ribbon off, and it might move when you tie it, but we can just move it back onto place, but we are just tying it so that it keeps the book closed. So there you go, make sure it's, and then there you have it. There's your little book in the centre of your third one. So it folds up like this. So she says, just sort of tuck inside of each other. There we go. And then there's your third insert, or your third layer. So then what we're going to do is we're going to actually stick it onto there, and it's the same as we did with the other one. You just want to put some glue on and then place that into the center like so and push down. Make sure it's straight. Some glue seeping out just down here. I'll just wipe that up. Must have put a bit too much on. So there you have it. So there's your 3 layers, and then if you find you don't like these, you can always just cut them off, but I just wanted to show you a different way of doing it. So now the very final thing to do, I'm just going to set that to the side to dry, is the 6x6 piece of paper that we scored us at the beginning. This is our lid, and all we're going to do is in the corner you'll see there's a square, and you're just going to cut down to the right of each side. So each long side bit, you're just going to cut down to the right to give you that flap. And then this is what we're going to use to make it into a lid shape. So you want to do it all the way around like that. Then once you've done that, you then want to put glue onto these tabs like this. Sorry for the noise, my husband's just cooking, so he's just checking his pizza. He's having, do you want to say hello? No, he's shaking his head. He's a bit too shy. So we're just going to do that all the way around, and you want to do it to every bit, and then once you've got every bit with glue on, you just want to hold it into place. You can, I tend to get my clips. Let's get them out. So I have these really cool clips, some owls and some leaves, and then I just get them and I just position them before the stick. And then that just keeps them in place so that you can get them all together, because it can be quite a fiddly job, this bit. So last piece. So like that, and then that's it. So when that's dry, just close my glue up. I've got just need some ribbon, and I've got this nice floral yellow ribbon here, when I can find the end to open it. Oh, look in the camera. So I've just got this lovely gorgeous ribbon. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. Like I said, the lighting is terrible. It's an absolute glorious day as well. Let's see if I can get it a bit better. Oh, there we go. So there's the ribbon. So we're just going to get our box together. This should be dry. Yep. And we're going to just fold each layer up. So the first one can be held together like that. And then the trick in shutting these is take up 3 sides, and then using the lid, just scoop it up and pop it on. And then the ribbon is, oh, you don't do that. Knock it off. do that again. So hold 3 sides and then get the lid and just pop it on like that. You can make the lid longer if you would like. I prefer them small. I just think otherwise you just don't see much of that ribbon, much of the paper on the outside. But if you're wanting a 2-inch band, you would need an 8-inch squared piece of paper. So you just add on 2 inches and then you just tie your ribbon, and there you go. There's our explosion box. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it useful, because I have tried several times to record this. I know we've had a few interruptions with my little puppy Quincy and the postman, but I'm really pleased with it. Now it's just down to me personalising it, and I will personalise this one because I really like the papers. If you've got any questions, please do leave them in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to help. And please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hopefully I will see you very, very soon in my next video. But until then, happy crafting. Bye!